Today, we're going to look at a couple of teams running the stack or back screen pick and roll and how these teams have really gotten creative at disguising it with initial misdirection, as this action has pretty much become a staple of NBA playbooks. First up we have is the New Orleans Pelicans, and Alvin Gentry calls this play 41 swing. It starts off with the wing hit to the 5-man, who then reverses the ball to the lead guard up top. So here you see Julius Randle reversing the ball to Drew Holiday up top. And if we go back a bit, a shooter comes off the flex screen from a shooting big. So you see Etuan Moore right here coming off the flex screen from Nico. Then immediately Nico spaces away to the corner. This is a wrinkle that the Pelicans have ran more of this year, as last year they would often have the player coming off the flex screen. So Moore would come off the flex screen, and that player would clear to the opposite corner here, and it would create this single tag with a shooting force shaking behind. But rather than clearing to the corner, the shooter will set the back screen pick and roll as you see here. So Randle gets open for the lob when Brian gets screened. The way this play is set up is very similar to the Raptors' 52 hammer action that I broke down a couple of weeks back. And you see the same initial wing hit here. Wing hit. And the overload on the weak side with the two perimeters slotted in the corner and up top. This player in the corner here and the perimeter up top here. Let's run that back. So here on the back screen pick and roll, Cat gets nailed on the screen, and Rocco here has to help. Cat has AD rolls to the rim, and this opens up a wide open lane for Drew. So Nico is late getting into the play here, and Miller here cuts into paint a bit early, but the Pels still get a quality look. Again, Montrez gets nailed on the screen. Gets completely screened on the back screen here. And Lou, right here, has to help on AD's roll. And this opens up a wide open lane for Drew. So that play from the Pelicans is a really nice set with all the misdirection. This time here, you see the hammer action from the Raptors with the same setup. Wing hit. And you see the same overload on the weak side with the two players slotted in the one in the corner and one up top. And rather than the corner player coming off the flex screen from the big here, these two players on the weak side split with the top player coming off the hammer screen. Top player coming off the hammer screen, CJ Miles coming off the hammer screen from Ibaka. Raptors get a good look for Lowry. Just a cool play for any coaches out there that want to add the hammer and stack pick and roll out of this setup. No other coach run the stack pick and roll as much as Carlisle, and they run it out of wedge here. So they call this wide stack, which is pretty much just wedge action. After the wing hit, the lead guard will set a wedge screen for the four-man who then slips. So you see the wedge screen from Luka here, and Barnes is going to slip the screen. And the five-man will then sprint right into a high pick and roll with the shooting four setting the back screen. The player who just slipped will set the back screen for the five-man. So here you see the stack pick and roll from the three players involved. Barnes gets a wide open look for three. Here the Warriors miscommunicate with Looney, thinking there's a switch, but Clay sticks with Luka, and Barnes right here gets wide open on the pop back for the three. Mavs don't really execute with speed here, but they still get a good look when the Spurs miscommunicate on the guard-to-guard switch. These next few clips shows the Mavs running different options out wide. The Mavs will look to score off the initial cut off the wedge screen if the defense falls asleep like the Hawks do here. Rather than setting the back screen, the cutter coming off the wedge will clear to the opposite side, and the five-man will slip the high pick and roll into a wide pin down. Here, they just run the high pick and roll with the single tag. Next up is the Miami Heat running the stack action out of dive action. So dive action is just dribble add action with the opposite slot diving to the rim. You see the dive from Tyler Johnson. Same dive action. Back screen, pick and roll here. So right here, Ellington gets wide open for three when Richardson gets a trigger, which is Spoelstra's term when the ball handler gets two on the ball. And because Holiday has to help Bam on Bam's roll, which leaves Ellington open on the pop back. This is the Heat's regular dive action, where the player diving, this player here, will exit to the corner coming off the baseline screen. Baseline screen right here. Rather than setting the back screen, good shot making from Ellington despite the contest. Same thing here, but with the initial DHO entry to get into dive. Last one comes from the Phoenix Suns. I'm not 100% sure on this call, but believe Igor may call this high loop. So it starts off with the reversal to the trailer, who then goes right into a DHO. So the player who made the initial reversal will cut through, in this case Booker, and rather than clearing to the weak side immediately, sets a back screen. So stack pick and roll here. So the Magic actually do a good job initially defending the play here with Vucevic dropping deep to prevent getting screened. So he's really way back on the screen, way back on defending the play here. But Fournier doesn't really contest Jackson. So good finish from Oubre in traffic. This is just regular high loop from the Suns without the back screen to give you an idea. So you see the same reversal followed by the DHO. But the player who made the initial reversal clears to the weak side on the through cut here. This player right here. Love how Igor confuses the defense with the initial misdirection. And you can see how everyone is spaced high. And this opens up the paint to set up the backdoor for Bridges right here. See how wide open the paint is because the other four players are spaced high. So here Aiden starts low, but times it perfectly on his lift to the elbow to help create space for Jackson on the backdoor. So this clip here, the Suns don't get the backdoor and they just flow into spread pick and roll. So you see the dribble at, backdoor, and timing is a bit off here, but the player who made the initial through cut right here goes right into the high pick and roll off the dribble handoff. It's really tough action to defend because the ball handler is moving right into the pick and roll with his man trailing the entire time. And they get Ayton a dunk here.